Alright guys, welcome back, and look, I know what you're thinking, man, you've been talking about Dan Houser a lot lately, and you're right, I mean, it really feels like the last month this channel has accidentally become the Dan Houser Updates channel. But I promise you, I'm not doing this on purpose. The man has just decided to wake up and choose violence really every single week. And just when I thought we were done talking about him for a while, he goes on Virgin Radio UK and drops what might be the most savage, specific, and terrifying critique of the gaming industry I've ever heard. He didn't just say AI is bad, that's boring, everyone says that. No, Dan Houser compared artificial intelligence to a literal brain-eating disease, specifically mad cow disease. And then he went after the CEOs and the tech bros running these companies, and he basically called them sociopaths. Alright, let's start with the quote that's blowing up my timeline because it's such a vivid, nasty image. Houser was asked about generative AI, things like ChatGPT, Midjourney, and all the tools that executives are drooling over right now. And instead of giving the polite PR answer, he gave us a biology lesson. He said AI is going to eventually eat itself. The models scour the internet, but the internet's going to get more and more full of information made by the models. So it's sort of like when we feed cows with cows and we got mad cow disease. Now, let me explain that metaphor really quick. In the 90s, the mad cow outbreak happened because industrial farmers were grinding up the remains of dead cattle and feeding it back to living cattle to save money. It was efficient, it was cheap, and it created a disease that destroyed the cow's brains and crashed the entire British beef industry. Houser is arguing that the gaming industry is doing the exact same thing with culture. Right now, AI models are trained on human writing. But as the internet floods with AI articles, AI tweets, and AI art, the next generation of AI will be trained on that garbage. It'll stop learning from humans and it'll start learning from itself. This is actually a real scientific concept called model collapse. If you feed AI output back into AI input, the quality degrades instantly, the logic breaks, and the art gets weird artifacts. Houser is saying you can't cheat nature. You can't feed the machine its own tail and expect it to grow. But honestly, the mad cow comment wasn't even the most personal part of the interview. And to be honest, this is why I keep making videos about this guy, because nobody else at his level is willing to say this stuff out loud. He went after the people running these AI companies, the tech bros. He said, quote, "Some of these people trying to define the future of humanity, creativity, or whatever it is using AI are not the most humane or creative people. They're saying we're better at being human than you are. It's obviously not true." He then called them not fully rounded human beings. I mean, dang, he basically just said these people are pretty empty inside. And he's pointing out the irony that the people trying to replace artists are usually the people who have never created art in their lives. If you think Red Dead Redemption 2 is just data that can be replicated by an algorithm, then you fundamentally do not understand what makes art work. Now, we need to talk about A Better Paradise. This is Dan Houser's new sci-fi horror story. And to be honest, it's not just a random plot, it's really more a warning. The entire plot is about a group of developers who create an advanced digital world. And then the AI goes wrong, it becomes self-loathing and starts hunting its creators. So in these interviews, he's not just complaining about AI for the sake of complaining about AI. He's taking it a step further. He's really building a whole entire universe inside of a novel to show us exactly why it's a bad idea. And that's another reason why he says he started Absurd Ventures. It's specifically to prove that human creativity is still the premium product. And look, I know some of you in the comments are already going to say, who cares, he's just an old guy yelling at technology, and really he just created super awesome video games. But we really need to remember who this is. This is the guy who wrote Arthur Morgan. This is the guy who wrote Nico Bellic. This is the guy who wrote the highest grossing entertainment product in the history of the human race. When you play a Rockstar game, specifically the ones Houser led, you are playing a game that is obsessed with the human element. Think about the satire in GTA 5, the way it pokes fun at yoga or social media or even celebrity culture. That satire requires a human observer. A robot cannot make fun of society because a robot is not part of society. Houser knows that you cannot type "write a sad cowboy scene" into a prompt and get the end of Red Dead 2. He knows the magic comes from the imperfections. So what does this mean for the future? Houser's warnings suggest we are heading towards a massive split in gaming. On one side, you will have premium human games, games where you pay $70, or let's be real, probably $80 soon, to experience a human vision. On the other side, you will have the slop, endless generated content, mobile games with AI art, and MMOs with AI quest text. And we might be heading towards a world where made by humans becomes a marketing tag, like organic on vegetables. And you'll have to pay extra to play a game where an actual person wrote the dialogue. There is one last layer to this that Hauser touched on, and it's genuinely terrifying: the dead internet theory. If you go to Facebook right now, half of the viral posts are AI generated images of weird wood carvings that don't even exist. And the comments are bots talking to other bots. Hauser is warning that video games are next. Imagine logging into an online RPG in 5 years. The quest you accept was written by AI. The voice telling you the quest was also generated by AI. Even the player running next to you is clearly an AI bot trained to keep engagement metrics up. It becomes a hall of mirrors. There is no human connection left. It's just you alone in a box interacting with a calculator. It's some pretty crazy stuff to think about. And to be honest, that's why I keep talking about Dan Hauser. It's not just because I'm a Rockstar fanboy, although I obviously am, but it's because he's the only one sounding the alarm on this loudly. He's reminding us that you cannot feed a system its own waste and expect it to grow. You cannot feed cows to cows, and you cannot feed AI to AI. If the gaming industry ignores this warning, we aren't just going to get bad games. We are going to get a culture that eats itself until there's nothing left. But with all of that, I want to turn this over to you guys. Do you agree with the mad cow analogy, and do you think AI is getting worse the more we use it? Also, would you buy a game if you knew the story and characters were written by an algorithm? Also, do you think Rockstar without Dan is still safe from this, or are you worried about GTA 6 being overwhelmed with crazy AI? Drop your take in the comments below. I'll be reading through all of them. And while you're at it, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos just like this one. Alright, with that all out of the way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.